So that's your fleece, huh? It's the perfect combination of sweating while hiking and freezing while in camp. You've had it for years and it's never let you down, right? Wrong! Don't be a beta. Get alpha.
Alright, y'all, let's get into it. So, if you're anything like me, you've been using the Melanzana fleece for however long. Myself, personally, over 5,000 miles I've used that thing, and I've never found it to be quite right. I've tried a lot of different fleeces, and although they had certain features like a zip in the neck to allow you to vent out, I never found like that was enough for me to regulate my temperature while I was hiking. That was until I found the Senchi Alpha Hoodie. Now, I used this fleece on my long trail through hike and found it to be excellent, actually. I hiked the long trail in the fall season, so I was expecting colder temps, much like right now as I'm kind of bundled up in my puffy here. So the one that I've been using is the Polartec Alpha Direct version that he makes. Now, he also makes a light version. It was just that when he was making this, he didn't have that version available, so this is just what I've been using and testing. Now, I experienced on the long trail a low, I think it was down to about the mid-20s, and this was the setup that I used the whole time, and it worked out great. And this is what I'm going to continue to use. No more Melanzana for me when it comes to my hikes. But I found it was the perfect layer for me to be active in. And that's the next thing I want to talk about. A fleece is never meant to be a standalone, do-everything style of piece. A fleece is meant to be active insulation. So what's the point of a piece that you have to take off as soon as your body temps start going up when you start hiking? Or using that same piece that's supposed to be your active insulation as your only static insulation when you're in camp, whether hanging out with friends or trying to just make dinner, and it just doesn't suffice enough. Now, I used to just use the Melanzana and put a rain jacket over, but you still don't get quite the warmth that you would get with a puffy. Now, on top of that, when you run into conditions such as rain meets sleet meets snow, and now you're completely soaked through, and you have snow dumping on you at the moment, when you're faced with those conditions, just a fleece alone is not going to cut it. And sometimes we make these decisions or we make these cuts in our pack to lower our overall weight, and it can put you in a situation that is kind of risky. This piece really shines at what it's meant to do, and it does it at least half the weight. I mean, probably even less than half the weight, depending on the size Melanzana that you might have purchased or other fleece. Now, for myself personally, my Melanzana I think comes in roughly around 10 ounces, and this one comes in at about 4.5 ounces. And that's with a kangaroo pocket and a hood that's designed kind of like the Melanzana, so it stays nice and snug for when you're using it sleeping in your quilt. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah, you wear a men's small, so all of your stuff is going to be nice and small and lightweight, but take a look at the weights that Senchi Designs is putting out even for the large and XL sizes. So now you can utilize your fleece when you're being active, and when it gets way too cold or in really scary situations where you're cold and wet, you can then pop on a synthetic puffy over top of that, and now you're fully protected in that condition. Now, you also may know that I use a sun hoodie for when I'm hiking. That's an important piece of this whole combination as well, because when I'm using the fleece by itself, there are times where I need just a touch more warmth for when I'm being active or for those early morning starts. So what I do is I layer this fleece underneath that sun hoodie just to trap a little bit more warmth for those mornings that are a little bit more brisk than usual. By the time I start getting going hiking, I'll take off my sun hoodie layer, stuff it in the pack, keep hiking with the fleece, and I found on the long trail when the temps were cool all day, I could hike in the thing all day with no problems. It was the perfect regulating piece for me. But honestly, you don't even need a sun hoodie to adapt this fleece to the system that you're using. You could even just take your regular hiking shirt and put it over top of it, and it'll help trap in more warmth. And the fact that I was able to ditch some weight by moving to the Senchi Alpha fleece, that meant I was able to carry my puffy, which the combination of these two together comes in at about 12 ounces. And it covers me from everything from summer conditions all the way to it's snowing outside. And I like the fact that I can have that flexibility within the pieces that I'm carrying with me on my back. So after using this thing for well over 5,000 miles now, I'm pretty much ready to retire it. And I'm moving on to the Senchi Alpha Hoodie. So I personally have just been super excited about using this piece. I've been really excited about the fabric itself, and I reached out to Ryan from Senchi Designs so that we could do a little bit of an interview together to help you guys learn a little bit more about what it is that he's making, and well, really so I can learn more too. So check it out.
What up, Jonathan? Welcome to the shop. Senchi headquarters. Who knew? Thanks so much for reaching out and wanting to do a video. Rock on, brother.
So hey, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. This is kind of an interesting setup we got here. It's the first time ever doing this. Have you had anybody interview you yet?
No, first time.
All right, sweet. This should be fun. So I know, like, I got my first piece from you. I got an Alpha Direct from you. I just looked up my receipts. It looks like back in March. Is that when you started actually doing the hoodies?
Yeah, I think I was making my first ones like in December, January. I think I was just doing just a real big deep dive into probably an unhealthy amount into like the ultralight gear world and ended up like stumbling across like a MacPack Nitro. I think they're in New Zealand and they don't ship internationally, so I had to get it from somebody who had gone to the store or something like that, and I think I got like a medium and it felt like 2 sizes too small. It was really boxy fit, had a really loose fitting hood. Yeah, I mean, but I really liked the fabric and I was like, what the hell is this? It's just like, it's just so light and breathable, but an amazing insulation piece and active layer. So yeah, I just like resold that and I was like, I just need to find me some fabric, and just started like making my own design kind of in between a Melanzana and a Patagonia Capilene Air hoodie. What I noticed from using Melanzanas in the past is, you know, I think they can be really good for hiking, but in terms of like running or doing like skiing and stuff like that, I just always noticed that little piece, that little elastic cord would always just like smack me in the face. Yeah, so I just like, yeah, I thought about like designing a piece that utilized the fabric that is just really awesome, and I don't quite understand why it's not used more regularly, especially just as a standalone piece, because I know Outdoor Research and a few other companies use it as an insulation layer, but when you sandwich it in between layers of nylon or polyester, it just you lose that breathability aspect of it. So yeah, I think I sold you my, like, maybe one of my first ones. It was like, maybe I sold it for like
$40 or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty early on, and I've seen one of your newer ones and how you've changed not only the cut but also certain features of it. Kate the Wild on Instagram, she was telling me that you actually prefer the light to the Alpha. So tell me more about that.
The light version is like, so it's 4/5 the weight of the Alpha Direct. Polartec just has like these numbers associated with it, so the light version is just actually just called insulation, Alpha insulation. The Alpha Direct is just like a little bit more heavy duty, a little bit less stretch. I think that people focus a lot on wanting a piece that's really warm, but when it comes to a fleece, it's nice to have something that is breathable, because most of the time you're actually pretty hot, you know? And if you want to, if you are like trying to stay warm, you can use a quilt, sleeping bag, or you know, like a synthetic piece or something like that. Yeah, I just find it to be a little bit more, it's a little stretchier, it's a little more comfortable. But I mean, especially like if you're utilizing both of them, that's why I created like the hybrid versions. So like kind of like a flux hybrid and a jersey hybrid.
Talk a little bit more about your designs, because I know you have the design that's kind of like the Melly, where the hood and the sleeves are a separate color or even a different fabric, like you were talking about. But you also have this. What is it? Is it your flux design?
Yeah. So the design itself is like keeping your core warm and your head warm with the direct, and then having that ventilation with the light on the half sleeve and under the pit. I think is just super useful, and it's just, yeah, I think it's just really aesthetically pleasing. You don't often see pieces of gear that are just like, just not a fully functional design, but something that looks good. And I think that that is like, I don't know, that's really important to me to have.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the colors that you've chosen too look really nice, because you have some like retro kind of colors that really pop. It's not just like, bland stuff. I notice in my closet I have way too much black. I have way too much gray. Everything's all just kind of bland. But you got some stuff that's very eye catching.
So right now, in the light version, there's like an aqua, we have a yellow, there is kind of like a Legion blue, so it's like kind of like a Cookie Monster blue almost. And then I just got a new order of some kind of like a red wine plum color. Yeah, so it's nice to be able to like just mess around with the design and have those light pieces, but also utilize, colors that are just more dark, and people who are like less adventurous or don't want to have like as wild of colors. It's nice to have an option where it's just kind of like dark and.
So what's in store for the future? What else do you guys have going on? Any expansion of the products, or?
Yeah, so we are working on like a crew neck version right now. Possibly making some mittens. Have some people interested in that, just as like a an extra layer, and then having like a range, like a hard shell glove basically over the top of that. Working on a poly wool blend sun hoodie at the moment as well, which is pretty lightweight, and I think especially having that over an alpha piece would be really awesome. Not quite ready to talk about some other things, but I think honestly just really focusing on the hoodies and the leggings at the moment. There's just a lot of demand right now, which is great, but I think in terms of like a small business, getting on our feet and just like getting more manufacturing done and more people on the needles, I think will be really great. It feels really weird to have like a little cult following, but it's like, it just means that it's like a really good product, and I don't want to like, I think it's really important for me to not rush through something if there's a demand for it, to be like, okay, just like take a step back and be like, okay, how can I make it the best possible product, instead of trying to like lean into the fact that it's really desirable and wanting to make money off it. That's less important to me than making something that somebody's going to use and love for a long time, and trying to be able to like accommodate all different body types is really important. That's been like kind of top priority for me, and it is nerve-wracking to be like, oh shit, I have all these like orders that I need to like take care of, but like I also want whoever is on the receiving end of that to get something that they really love. So
like the Polartec Alpha, what exactly is the fabric? Like, kind of, do you have details like what it actually is like?
yeah, so I can try and like send you a close-up video of it, but basically it's an all synthetic piece, and I think the light version is 100% recycled, and the Alpha Direct I think is 50. Basically it's like a lattice that's kind of woven, and I think it stretches about like 30% in one direction, 15% in the other, and it has these like kind of tufts that come off of the lattice. It's, in between the lattice there's just like, it's just a really breathable material, and then the insulation piece is like that fluff of that synthetic fluff that just comes off, is just kind of interlaced in the lattice.
At
Yeah.
first, I thought it was going to be super fragile, and I was kind of like nervous about using it. And then, yeah, I took it out on the long trail, and I was wearing it just right against the body with shoulder straps on, like putting wear on it and everything. And the thing still looks as new as the day you gave it to me.
Yeah, I think when I did the Colorado Trail this past summer, that was like the biggest test run for it, and I took the all light version, and yeah, I mean, I caught that thing on trees. I caught it on, like, I helped lift someone's like mountain bike over a barbed wire fence, and like it still held up, and yeah, and I think, yeah, so even like with the shoulder straps, like rubbing on them for like a month, it, you know, didn't wear out at all. So yeah, it's just in terms of its durability, it's pretty, definitely surpassed my my expectations of it. It's really cool to be able to connect with the hiking community and to be able to like have some conversations and meet up. And yeah, I remember like just researching some stuff, watching YouTube videos, and like now like communicating with a lot of people in the ultralight world. And it's just like, yeah, it's just a really great community. Yeah, just really grateful for everyone. And yeah, really appreciate you wanting to reach out.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, let everybody know where can everybody find you. Of course, you've got Instagram. Where else can they find you? So,
I think so. For the moment, just on Instagram, we're gonna be having we're gonna put up the website in December, and just keep an eye out on Instagram. We'll be posting a link to that.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, it's been sweet talking to you. Sincerely. Like I said, I've been a big fan of what you've made, and I'll definitely be picking up some more stuff from you in the future. I gotta check out those new colors that you got going on now. That wine color sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
So that concludes the video on the Senchi Alpha Fleece. It was really nice to reach out to Ryan and learn a lot about the products that he's making, how he kind of got started, all that fun stuff. If you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I did making it, please go ahead and leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff to help out the channel here, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.